Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Oh my gosh, it is a Monday morning. It is a Monday morning. We are still at our house today, but we're giving you a different angle. So let us know if you like it. So we are, well, currently I'm sitting at my kitchen island. So my sink and everything is, okay, true story. Like it is chaos and cord zone behind me or in front of me, I guess. Yeah, we're sitting at the island. So behind us is the table. Then we have the sliders and then we have the pool. So we're just giving you a little bit of a different angle today. Also partly because I'm putting some wallpaper. It's kind of a really cool thing in my office. So I'll show you this later when it all actually comes to fruition. But many of you know that I have a picture of my dad who was a commercial printer. Incredible work ethic, grew up with that. And so his picture, he passed away a long time ago when, gosh, what did we decide, Eric? Probably like 25 years ago because our daughter Alyssa was a year old. So right about there. But I always keep his picture up there by my desk just to kind of remind me, you know, to keep on going. And I was talking to Eric one day and I was like, you know, I really want a picture of an old true, I say antique, but it's just because you don't use those types of printing presses anymore, but an old printing press that I used to remember at my dad's work. And so we have custom ordered a big giant, actually it's like a whole like grouping of photos. It's like a gallery wall of some images that really take me back to his print shop called Viking Press way back in the day. And so in preparation for doing that, I decided to put like a wallpaper kind of a textured thing kind of behind it. And I'm short on the wallpaper. And Amazon will only let me order 3 and then that's it. They're like, you've ordered 3 rolls, you can't order anymore. So I had to get my daughter, my other daughter, and my son to order rolls. One of them came in and it was not the right one, so I have to send that one back. So point is, my office is a little incomplete at the moment, so the fact that we wanted to switch and give you a different angle is very convenient for me because that means I don't have to move all the chaos that's in there like a ladder that's up there so I can finish the wallpaper. So, but soon, I promise I will show you what that room looks like other than just the view that you're typically looking at with the big window behind me. So we are here.
Up to me. Is it going to come up to me?
I don't know. What was that?
What's on the screen now?
You, me, and you?
I didn't check.
I don't know what that was all about. I'm in the middle of...
Wallpaper.
Oh, you brought the wallpaper. Yeah, so it's... Okay. He loves his toys. He loves his toys, his gadgets, and his buttons. Yeah, let me see. So this is just a leftover sheet. So I'll show you what it looks like. So this is... Oh, it's going to be really blurry. So never... By my face?
Hold it by your face.
No, it's still blurry. Anyway, it's just it's kind of like the grass cloth type thing. So it really is just, it's very muted, but it has a little bit of a texture to it. So it's not so much like it's a visual texture. I guess it has some actual literal texture too. But at any rate, so that's kind of going on that wall. So that was funny, Eric. Thank you. Anyway, so now welcome to coffee time. If you're joining us a little bit late, we appreciate you popping in. So we have lots of things to talk about. Real estate related, life related. I am on to my Diet Coke, my friend. So in honor of that, I have my Diet Coke mug that you guys gave me. Well, you know who you are. But I also have my actual real can too, because it is already a cold caffeine morning. It's been busy and we're so grateful, but it's been super busy. So let's get going to some of our What's Brewing topics. Cause I've got some questions for you throughout this thing. So get your fingers warmed up, have your coffee, get them ready because I need some comments and I need some not only questions too, which by the way, go ahead, don't forget as a reminder, if you want to have a question, put a capital Q with a colon would be helpful for me to kind of be able to sort through. But I also have some actual questions as we kind of talk about some of these topics. So let's go ahead and get to What's Brewing. Okay, so we have a Molly update, Jedi Knights, and yes, before you start commenting, we do know how to spell. We know it's Knights. You'll understand why later. And then some touring tips. So the first thing I want to go over is our sweet Molly. So honestly, guys, last week was an absolute nightmare. We had coffee time and we talked about, I believe I said I'd have to get Molly to the vet that afternoon. I had some appointments in the morning, and we had kind of an emergency pet visit just to figure out what was going on with her because she was not doing well and we couldn't quite figure it out. We went to the vet and they said she was in kidney failure, and we immediately needed to take her to a hospital. And I mean, it was, I know it's our fur baby, but, having, you're going in thinking they're going to tell you it's a UTI or, give her an antibiotic for something. And that was absolutely not what I was expecting. So it was kind of like thrown into turmoil. Eric was not here. So this was also happening while Eric was in Iowa and Idaho, right, sweetheart? Yeah. So he was gone last week for a few days. And of course, this is all happening when he's not here, and like he's stressing because he can't be here, and I'm stressing because he's not here. And thankfully this was later in the afternoon at 3:00. And of course the storms are coming in, and they're like, you're going to have to go to the University of Florida because that's where they can take care of Molly. And I'm like, I'm so confused. So anyway, I'll give you the fast version of it, which is that when we went to the vet here locally, they said she needed to go immediately. Like they're like, you can't take her home. Like you need to go get her somewhere. So there is an overnight veterinary clinic / hospital in Winter Garden, Oakland area, and they are only open from like 6 p.m. until 7 or 7:30 a.m. They're literally just an overnight hospital. So we took Molly from our vet directly to that little hospital. They admitted her, gave her fluids, and got her, kind of stabilized a little bit. And then the next morning, I had to pick her up at 6:30 because then we had to take her to the most amazing place called Blue Pearl. It is a true animal hospital, and it is in Maitland, Florida. And I have to tell you guys, I have never been so impressed with a veterinary institution of any kind as I was with them from the moment we walked in to the moment we left to go pick her up. They're amazing. So if you do live here in the area, and it is truly a hospital, it's an emergency situation. But if you do have those emergency situations, please remember that name because they are all Dr. Duffy and Dr. Wilkes were our vets. They were absolutely amazing. I believe our Molly was Dr. Duffy's very first patient because apparently she came here from Texas. But she was amazing. And they took Molly. They did have to keep her for a few nights. They did a really great job. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but it's kidney function. The levels that they did, I think like 1.6. There's Molly. 1.6 is, I think, kind of the normal for whatever it is that they're looking for. When we took Molly to our vet, it was at 11, which was dangerously high. And they had to get it lowered. By the time we left the overnight hospital, it had gone down, I think, to like 9 or 10. And then when we took her to the actual hospital in Maitland, to Blue Pearl, they got her down to a 2. And that was fantastic. And then, long story short, she was there for a few days. We picked her up. And even as of right now, we still have to give her basically these IV fluid bags. We have to administer those every morning, which we still need to do this morning. So as soon as coffee time is over, we're going to take care of her. And then on Thursday, we get a follow-up visit at the actual hospital in Maitland, and they will check those numbers again, see the kidney function, and then we'll be able to determine. So thank you guys. Those of you, not only those of you on Coffee Time that were sending me like private messages, clients that may have had to be rerouted a little bit because sometimes the things conflicted a little bit. And so I was running a little bit late or I had to move it to a different day. So just thank everybody for understanding that our fur babies are our babies. But there's Molly. She is back home. If you look at her paw, she's sporting like a go-go boot. You see how they shaved it? Cracks me up. But anyway, she's here. She's floating around somewhere. But thank you for that. So she's asleep on the bed. That's where she usually is in the morning. So anyway, Elizabeth and Alyssa were with me for a lot of it. Elizabeth was with me the whole time. So they were help taking care of Mom and taking care of Molly. So that was good.
Dawson loves that cat.
Oh, Dawson loves that cat so much. So in fact, it was funny because I told Dawson, I was like, hey, I need to go. It's your baby, right? So when they come home, you want to get them all this like new stuff. I was like, well, let's go to PetSmart. I need to go at some point. I need to pick up some new food because they were saying she was eating a specific food that was better. Not better, but that she was eating it. So so I was like, I was going to go do this. And Dawson's like, well, Kate and I will go. So I said, okay, if you want to go get these things. And I said, and then get her some extra fun stuff. So he had a good time going to PetSmart and buying all sorts of new toys and scratching posts and all those things for her. So anyway, with that, we will move on to the next part of our coffee time, what's brewing. But again, thank you guys for that. It really makes our heart so happy that people actually really, truly care. So the next one is Jedi Knights. And again, yes, we understand the spelling of the word, but go ahead, Eric. You can push it. So this is, so on Saturday, Alyssa and her husband, Steele. What did I say?
You said Alyssa.
I said Alyssa. Oh my gosh. More coffee. I mean, more Coke. I mean, Diet Coke. Waking up my brain. Stop it. Coke. What? Okay. So yes, Elizabeth. My apologies. Elizabeth and Steele. That happens all the time. Elizabeth and her husband Steele went to spend the day at Disney on Saturday. So it was also actually Elizabeth's birthday, which is one of the reasons that they went. But the other reason that they went is when we did our big VIP family kind of tour a couple months ago. We really wanted to have time for Steele to get like the lightsaber. And there is and Elizabeth, I know you're on, so please tell me, was it like $300 or something to have that experience? Eric, do you want me to put the video on there?
Well, I mean, we can run that
So-
down and just you can show
Yeah.
what it's like.
So this is kind of what, okay, and the way it was described to me, because I actually haven't done this myself, but if you have been to Universal and you've been to Ollivander's in Harry Potter to get your wand, like the wand sorting kind of experience, it's very, very similar, but, Star Wars lightsabers. So here's a little video of kind of what that experience looked like.
The final stage is upon us. The bond between Saber and Builder is about to be forged. Builders, on my signal, you will come forward. Place a hand on the hilt of your saber, and together we will activate. Builders, are we all ready? Yes. Then come forward, everyone. Hand on your hilts, and activate. Good, now go ahead, builders, and raise your lightsabers. Builders, you have all built lightsabers, just like the Jedi and Sith who came before you. And like them, you too could change the galaxy.
There you go. Wasn't that cool? So yes, Elizabeth says she highly recommends that experience if you've got some big Star Wars fans. It's one of those things that if you splurge for it just creates kind of this memory, this lasting moment. So it's a little bit different than just going and buying one, picking it up off the shelf. Being able to kind of go through that experience, I think, was really cool. So they got to go and spend the day. It was just the two of them, and they spent a lot of time doing whatever it was that they wanted to do at the parks. I think they popped around to a couple other parks maybe, but was there another picture you wanted me to show them, or that's the later one? That's for later. Okay. So anyway, so the Jedi Knights. So that was part of the experience kind of for them over the weekend, and then back to real estate related stuff. So let's go back to real estate related, which is Sorry. I really need to wake up. So,
You do that all the time.
I do that all the time. There's a lot of buttons over here. There's a lot of buttons. Anyway, so touring tips. So I think this is really important. And this, I actually go to this because so often when I'm out with clients, there's things that I'm like, oh, you think people would probably know these things, and then sometimes the circumstances or the environment kind of requires that we have thought ahead. So here's a couple of those tips. Where are they, Eric? I'm looking. I see them. Never mind. So here's a couple of touring tips. And when I say touring tips, I don't mean vacationing touring tips. I mean, if you are actively house hunting, whether it's here in Florida or anywhere, but these are obviously specifically, kind of for Florida house hunting, because I think they're good things to kind of know. So number one is be comfortable. If you're comfortable in high heels, great. If you're comfortable in long jeans and a long sleeve, button-up shirt, great. But it is way too hot. And sometimes we're trekking through new construction areas, and there's like home sites, and they're sandy and they're dirty and it's dangerous. So the main thing is to be comfortable, understanding that we have very hot and humid weather here. So if you do want to have that cute cardigan, make sure you have something that you can, take that off. Very rarely do you need to add layers here. You really need to just remove them. So just dress comfortably. And that's really my point. Just be comfortable. You don't have to be fancy. When I'm out with clients, it's kind of a varying degrees of what I'm wearing. But I have clients today, and I just have on a shirt. I have on my little khaki little skirt that I wear all the time. Because we don't need to trek around in a 3-piece suit and fancy shoes. That's not real practical for what we're doing. We're usually moving pretty quickly through houses. And it also, just on that note, sometimes it's nice and respectful. There are some families or some households that we tour where they actually request that you either take your shoes off or you put the booties on. So make sure you have shoes that are easy to come on and off. So anyway, so number 1 is comfortable clothes. So number 2 is bring an umbrella. Oh my gosh. Yesterday I was showing homes, and I'm not kidding, like every bit of rain that could have come out of the sky was coming out of the sky right as we're trying to walk up to the houses. And I actually had an umbrella in my car. I usually carry several so that I can give some to clients, but I forgot to replace them because when we went to Virginia for the college orientation, at the last minute, we're like, hey, it looks like it's going to be rain in Harrisonburg. So I grabbed those out of my car and tossed them in my carry-on, and then I forgot to replace it. But yeah, so I usually have our cute little red, okay, Eric brought one, our red Heart and Home Orlando umbrellas. Don't open it, it's bad luck. Yeah. So we have our well, actually it's, go here. So we have our little Heart and Home Orlando umbrellas that we give to our clients, and we keep them out while we're out and about. But yeah, so bring an umbrella if you are traveling in Florida. It doesn't mean you have to carry it with you in and out. It just means be prepared. If you've got like a little one that you can toss in there or a poncho or something, that's usually a really good idea to have on hand, especially if I run out of them and I don't have enough. The third one is, where is 3? Take good notes. Is that? Oh yeah, there it is. I always tell Eric, and then like he puts the graphic together. I see it. So take good notes. So this is one of the things that I think is really important. So when I'm out with clients, I don't have one with me. Actually, no. Well, I was going to get like an MLS synopsis off your printer would be great. So whenever I'm out with clients, so for instance, yesterday, I always put together a folder, a little Heart and Home Orlando folder. We put in there the customer synopsis of each of the homes that we're going to go tour. This is for later today when I'm going to meet some clients. Basically, this is what it looks like. Eric, this camera, you can't see anything. It's only focusing on me. Anyway, it looks like that. We got new camera stuff, so it's not quite as easy for me to manipulate. But I give everybody the paperwork, the synopsis of each of the listings. And I always tell people, take notes. So as long as we're, when we walk in, if there was something that you really liked about that home, because if we see 6, 7, 8 homes, sometimes you start to forget what was what, especially if we've thrown in a few new construction options along the way. So take notes. That's really helpful if you take some notes as soon as you get back in the car. And the other reason that this is helpful is number 4, which is to bring someone. If you bring somebody with you, whether it's your spouse or your partner, your best friend, your mom, your dad, your cousin, whomever it is, it's nice to have another adult with you because one person can drive, the other person can be going through, you can be talking about the house, you can be making notes about the observations of the home, whether or not you really liked it and you want to keep talking about it, or whether or not, I always tell people, if you know that the home is not for you, fold that piece of paper over. Just go ahead and fold it over so that we know we're not really interested in that one anymore. Because that's really helpful at the end of the day when you go back. Doesn't mean that you don't have to look at it again. It just means that you've already kind of made a decision that that one is probably not going to remain on your list. And then the fourth one is bring someone. And at the bottom of that, you say, maybe not the little ones. Now, first of all, let me say, as a person who loves kids, it's not that that bringing kids is not allowed. Of course, you can bring your children with you. However, please understand when you're going through the homes that it can be depending on the age of the kids, right? If they're old enough to behave themselves, that's great. But sometimes there's little ones and they get squirmy and they don't want to be held, or maybe they want to get down, or maybe they need a nap, or maybe they need a snack. Basically, what that's doing is that's taking your focus from you trying to find your home to keeping, the child happy and content, which is also totally fine. Again, love kids. I'm happy to hold the kid. I'll bounce them while you're walking around. That's totally fine. But if it is possible to make other arrangements, to have someone else, maybe bring a third person with you and let them kind of, be on child duty so that you can really devote your attention to this big purchase that you're getting ready to make without the distraction of, the little one needing some attention that might be a little bit stressful at the moment. So that's just one more. And then the last one is to engage your senses. And this is what I tell all of my clients when I have a whole listing guide for my clients when they list their home. And one of the things that we talk about is from the moment you start talking about listing your home, you need to approach it from the perspective of the buyer, and that's to engage the senses. The moment you walk into the home, what do you see? Do you see clutter? Do you see a view that goes straight through to the back of the house? Do you have a really neat and organized foyer area? Do you see dog bins with stinky shoes lined up along the side? Do you, things like that, right? What is it that you see? What is it that you smell? For instance, when we toured homes yesterday, the home was beautiful, but it really had an overwhelming dog smell, like overwhelming. And it was a big turnoff to my clients, which otherwise would have been a fantastic home for them. So think about those things, right, ahead of time when you're listing your home. And when you're buying it, same thing, engage those senses. What do you smell? And by the way, having pet smell in your home doesn't mean that it should disqualify it. I'm just saying engage those senses. Obviously, you don't want to lick the walls, so the taste may not really be official, right? Don't lick the walls. But the feel, when you touch the handrail going upstairs, if there's an upstairs, is the handrail sticky? The countertops, like is everything, is it sticky? Is it clean? Does it, look nice? And then what do you hear? Are you close to a main road? Is there a work site near you? Are you in the middle of new construction that's going to be going on for another year or two? Excuse me. Do you have a beautiful lulling water feature in the pool that's in the backyard that you get to hear? So it's not always a bad thing. It's just about engaging those senses and really thinking about it. So it's not only the layout. Does the layout work? Does the price work? Does the location work? But let's say you have 3 or 4 choices that all meet those needs. First of all, congrats to you if you can get 3 or 4 choices that all meet those needs. But then to engage those senses just to really help you kind of pare it down a little bit more and take that extra deep dive into, whether or not that could potentially be the home for you. So those are my tips. And then the very last one is just my own little game that I like to play with my clients. At the very bottom, you see bonus. We always play the one to beat. So whenever we are out looking at homes, as soon as they find a home that they really like if they walk in the first home and they're like, yeah, this is a no-go. Great. We folded that piece of paper over. We're on to the next one. So we can kind of erase that from our mind, so that by the end of the day, we don't have, brain melting. The second home we see, let's say it's fantastic, it's fabulous, it's really, really, really good. This is going to be the one to beat. So then we see house 3. Well, did house 3 beat house 2? Do you like it better, equal, or less than? And then it doesn't mean you always have to have one. You could have 2 or 3 that kind of stay at the tip top. But it's just another way to help you decide which homes are included or are not. And I tell my clients, including and excluding is always progress. Whether we're keeping it on the list or whether we removed it, that's still forward motion in the right direction to be able to pare it down a little bit. So that is our other What's Brewing topic. So
the thing goes up and people can't see you go, oh no.
Well, it's because I don't know you're doing it.
I know, but that's because it's breaking news. This is not really breaking news. I didn't know how to switch to this camera for me without doing that. So, but it's a little bit of breaking news is that we got another contact yesterday from someone who goes, been watching you for years and years and years, and but we bought a house and now we're not happy.
We have trouble.
So whatever. But they didn't call you first. Okay, so I just wanted to add to the touring tip: have a realtor, maybe that lady. That lady? Which side are you on for me?
No, the other way.
That lady.
No, point straight in front.
That lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean on the screen, you're over there.
I gotcha.
So that lady.
Like I'm right in front of you.
All of those things she helps with. That's the thing that sometimes people go, well, I don't need a buyer agent. I can go see the houses myself. Yeah, but you don't know what you didn't see.
Right.
And you don't know some of those things, engaging your sessions, you don't know to have someone go,
yeah,
hey, listen for that. Do you hear that? Whatever.
Yeah.
So, plus it's fun. Also, don't call today. Well, you can call today. Not going out today because so much going on. Back to you, Amy.
Thanks, dear. Do I have to go back to my little Amy solo? Okay. Oh, you got it? You want me? Okay. Okay. Anyway, so yes, and that's like kind of a separate topic other than the touring thing. But yes, we do get that all the time. Like more often than where people are like, oh my gosh, we watch your videos all the time. They're so helpful. Unfortunately, we either bought before we found you, or in this case, these people that reached out, they are literally having a problem with a builder that I've talked about before, a builder that we've done the models of. They're like, oh, we watch, all your videos and we're currently under contract and now we're having a problem. And I'm like, well, so here's the thing, like, my first question is, were you working with a realtor when you purchased the home? Because that's the person you need to be talking to. I appreciate that, you're looking to me for help, and I want to help. I do. That's why I do everything that I do. It's why I don't sleep. It's why I have to have Diet Coke at 9:30 in the morning so that I can give you everything that I can give you. But if you don't get me in at the beginning of the process or early enough in the process, it creates a problem. So yes, if you are watching, that really is key. And if you're looking elsewhere and Florida is really not on your radar, do yourself a favor where you are looking to purchase and get a realtor in the beginning. Okay. That's really, really, really important, especially one that really is active in your area that hopefully will know a few things, because I have to tell you, vent moment for me. We could do a new segment, Amy's venting.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll do that. So this morning,
We'll call it Eric's Life.
rude.
That was a joke.
Okay.
So we'll call it Eric's Life.
No, so truly this morning when I was prepping, showing requests for clients, there are communities where the listing agent has put that it's a no minimum lease period in communities that are not zoned short-term rental. It drives me absolutely bonkers.
You are so actually mad.
I get so freaking mad. I'm like, that community is zoned residential. It is not short-term. Well, here's the reason that matters to me, because it matters to me and it matters to my clients. If you're looking at a home, or if some realtor doesn't know and hasn't checked, by the way, that's really the thing, because I don't expect every realtor to know everything, okay? But they have the ability to find that out. And if you are listing a home, it is super important that you know that. And that was really my frustration, is that they're saying communities like, I think there was one of them in Waterley, which is absolutely not short-term rental. There's a section in there that says no minimum lease period, which is basically our term of saying it's short-term rental. You can rent it for a day. No, you can't. So anyway, I'm done venting, but I do have questions. So I'm going to go to some of those questions real fast. Let me come over here. By the way, I'm on Eric's computer, so because we got a new setup. Okay. Rob. Hi, Rob. Can I assume that if anyone buys a home there and the pool is not screened in, that it can be? Yeah, I mean, you can assume so. We won't guarantee it because, I can't speak for something that I don't know that exists. But yes, generally speaking, as long as you've gone through the correct permitting, you can have something screened after the fact. We talked a lot about in our video that we did for the building of our pool, that if you are uncertain as to whether or not you want to screen it in, like let's say somebody wants to have a pool unscreened. Yeah, Eric's like, that's where you're going. If you want to have it unscreened, but you're like, I just don't know, because what if the bugs get to be too much? Then do yourself a favor and pay the expense to have the footers built at the time that you build the pool. So that way, if the screen does become something that, I keep looking at the wrong thing. If you do decide to build the screen at the, after let's say you've been in the pool 6 months or a year and you're like, yeah, this is it. Just, we got to put the screen around this so that we can really enjoy it. If those footers are built, easy breezy. You can get the screen up, no problem. You can still get it up. It's just that will be easier and it'll probably save you. So that's a good question, Rob. As always, my friend. Beth Burns. I know something about Beth Burns. We have closing dates. I'm so excited. So Beth, what is the timing of notifying water and electric if you're closing and taking on the accounts? So first of all, Beth, I'm so excited. So Beth, by the way, beautiful home. Not going to say where because, we want to keep everybody's private stuff. But we have our closing date. I'm so excited. So Beth and anyone else, that's a great question. So whether it is new construction or whether it is resale, right before you close, you're going to need to schedule those services, those utilities rather, to be transferred into your name. With new construction, they will give you that paperwork right before closing and even at closing. So for new construction, the builders typically give you about 3 working days or 3 business days after closing to get it officially changed. But they also can give you that information ahead of time so that on the day of closing, you can have it transferred into your name so that there's no potential mix-up. I have had clients that are like very frugal. They're like, hey, if they're giving me 3 days, I'm going to take those 3 days. Okay, just make sure that you do your due diligence and call those utility companies. That will be provided to you, Beth, from the builder. And again, you do get that information at closing. Sometimes they give it to you right before closing. Like they'll give you a whole closing sheet and it'll have those names, phone numbers, and addresses with a list of the things that you need to do to transfer it over. But definitely do it either the day before the day of closing to at least call and get that initiated, or most definitely a new construction within 3 days after you've closed. Resale, you want to have it done for the day that you close for sure, because you don't want the sellers to have turned off utilities and then we go to do a final walkthrough. So, and that's happened before. So just have to kind of coordinate that. Again, I always say be proactive. There's nothing worse than getting into your new home and then going, why is there no power? And it's because, well, we missed that window. So, but Beth, they'll let you know. And if you have any questions, just text me and we'll get you taken care of. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So Julia, if you choose to buy resale over a building or buying a new house, what's the typical average length of time from offer accepted to closing in Florida? It is typically about 30 days. It can be 45. It really just depends. But on average, we always say 30 days contract to close. That's pretty much the norm. That gives the lender enough time to go through the complete loan, true approval and underwriting process and getting you cleared to close. And that also gives the title company the time that they need to get all of the estoppel done, the title search done, and all of those other paperwork legalities behind the scenes, which we really need to remember that those title companies are a very, very important part of the process. We give them very little credit, but they're the ones that handle and go through all of the actual closing, the really important pieces to make us get there to that closing table. But yeah, typically 30 days. If it's cash, it can be done in usually 2 to 3 weeks if you really want to get it done faster. Again, we just have to make sure that the title company can get their pieces of the puzzle put into place. But other than that, we should be pretty good. All right, let me go on then to Wishes? Yeah. He wants me to go to Wishes. Okay, I'm going to Wishes then. Wishes. Okay, so we have a lot of wishes today. We've got a couple pages worth of wishes. It has been so busy. So Kim and David, super excited. All of this news, oh my gosh. It is so fun when I have clients that are here and they chat with us. They are texting me, we're emailing. They come in town and then they go back home and then they come back in town and then we finally get it done and we finally find the right house. And Kim, when we all met the other day, so with our situation, that was a perfect example of including and excluding and doing our due diligence just to make sure that when you feel like you found the right home, that you can have peace about it going, yeah, you know what, we did explore the other option that we thought we liked. And that's exactly what we did. So they ended up purchasing a new construction, beautiful home, bigger than I think they thought they were going to get. And when we met, it was to look at some other new construction. And I think it was good to kind of go, I don't think that home is quite going to be for us, which gives us that validation that the other home we were thinking of is probably the right one. So congratulations, Kim and David and Casey, for helping along the way. Paul and Helen, getting them under contract. Willie and Susan, super excited for them. We have lots of, some of these are new construction, some of these are resales. I'm going to go to Wishful 2, right? Yep, Wish 2. Denise and Richard, those are repeat clients, purchased another home in the same community. That was a big one because that was another kind of like a lottery thing back with new construction again. Yeah, guys, we kind of were back to that situation in that particular community. Rose and Carlos are my sellers here. We mentioned their townhome last week. One day it was under contract and we are chugging on to closing. And then Patrick and family. Now, this is a great example too. They actually purchased out in Palm Bay. And so that's kind of like Port St. Lucie area. That's a little bit further away from us. And so on this one, I want to give, Yanil, who was a part of our Heart and Home Orlando family, a big, 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 big thank you, because sometimes when a client is looking in an area that's a little bit outside my norm, and this was happening when Eric was out of town, everything was crazy. So Yanil was super helpful and she drove out there to help show them a home. And then that was perfect because it was the home they wanted. And then we wrote the contract, we got the offer accepted. We even got the closing date to happen. They're actually closing on the 25th. So that actually, I think that little conversation is probably going to lead us to something else on our Allie Knows Nothing, I think today. But yeah, so let's do that next. But anyway, if you've got questions, don't forget, actually there was one more. So let me pop up. Couple more. So Marsha, hi Marsha, I miss you guys. Talk to me about palm trees. We want to add some that are unfamiliar with the styles: palm bugs, coconut, small, extra tall, etc. So there's a lot of different palm trees. Some of my favorites. There's a Christmas palm, which is quite lovely. That's one that we have in our front yard. There is also a rubellini, which we have some of those that are a little bit smaller and froofy, and they're out in our pool area. And I can send you some pictures. There's also the foxtail. So people have mentioned a lot about
Try that and just.
Oh yeah, there you go. There you go. That's perfect. So can you see that, Marcia? So look at the 5 huge trees that are behind our screen. That's our pool area. So behind the screen, those are dual trunk foxtail palms. They also come in single trunks and 3 trunks, okay? But the dual trunk is what we have. So basically that's one tree, 2 trees connected by one base. That is a foxtail. Those can grow really big. The smaller palms that were inside the pool area are rubellini, right, Eric? Robellini. My apologies. But I mean, gosh, there really are so many different kinds of palm trees. One of the things that you're going to want to consider, and I have somebody, Marcia, if you want me, I can give you their contact information. You can look online and get some information, or you can talk to a landscaper about basically what are you trying to do with it. Like, for instance, what's the name of the one that we're getting ready to get put in?
Canary Island palm.
Canary Island palm. Okay.
Big mamma jamma palm.
Okay. So at the back, outside of our pool area, in the corner of our home site, in the backyard, because our lot is angled a little bit weird, there is a private road that goes behind us, but there's also a sidewalk that goes behind us. Not many people do, but some people walk their dogs all the way down and then they turn right around and they go back. And so we talked to our landscaper and we said, this is what we're trying to accomplish. There's a couple trees off in the distance. So we just want something that's kind of going to just kind of, cover up that little area. So we're going to do a whole new big landscaping bed. And he suggested a Canary Island palm, and it looks like a pineapple. So the base of it looks like a pineapple trunk, and then the palm fronds kind of go really big and canopy over. So lots of different palm trees. I'm obviously not a landscaping expert, but we can certainly get you in touch with one.
And next week we'll do a palm tree feature. Next week,
palm tree feature.
Yeah,
we'll do a palm tree feature for you, just for Marcia, because we love her. Okay, and then Kim. Oh my God, I love you so much. So Kim says, how do you convince your entire family to move with you? Well, all you do is move to Florida, my friend. And as you know, with your big, beautiful home that you're going to be building, they're all going to come. We say, if you build it, they will come. Yeah, that's not just for baseball fields, but that's for homes in Florida too. Plus, once they see yours, they're going to just be to die for. Anyway, that's so fun. All right, so let's go to, what do we want to go to before I did that?
Part of wishes.
Third part of wishes? Oh, the third part of wishes. I forgot about the third part of wishes. So this is, the third part of wishes. So this was Elizabeth and her husband, Steele. This was them when, again, they were at Hollywood Studios, and it was actually Elizabeth's birthday. So it was on her 21st birthday. So she had her first drink there, which is, it's called the Jedi Mind Trick. I had to write it down. A Jedi Mind Trick. It was green, right?
It was bluish, and it was 10:30 in the morning, but that's the only time they could get a reservation at the bar.
That's right. So in this particular place that they went, you're exactly right. I remember that now. You have to get reservations for the little Star Wars themed bar. So everything on the menu or the drink menu is all, kind of Star Wars themed. And so, so she had the Jedi Mind Trick, but they could only get their reservation at 10:30 in the morning. So a little early to be drinking. But 21st birthday, I guess it was okay to have a little something. So, all right, let me move on to our next thing. And remember, if you have questions, go ahead and start throwing them in there. Meanwhile,
do Allie.
Yeah, I'm going to do Allie. Where is my Allie?
Down to the right.
Down to the right? Oh, there she is. I see her now. I have bad eyes.
What is the difference between a real estate agent, a real estate broker, and a real estate team?
Okay, so this is a fantastic question, and it really is timely with what I was talking about earlier with Yanil helping. So first of all, a real estate agent is what I am, right? So I did all of my licensure, my pre-licensure, did the state exam. I've been an active agent now for a while. So I am a real estate agent. As a real estate agent, I have to hang my license at a brokerage. A brokerage can be or does not have to be an active real estate agent where they're actively, buying and selling homes themselves. They could just be managing the brokerage, but they have additional additional criteria that they have to meet. You have to have had your license here in Florida for 2 years before you can take the broker class to get your broker's license. But that is basically the company. So I am Heart and Home Orlando. Eric and I are Heart and Home Orlando. That is my name, our name. That is what we do. That is our business. But I work with or for preferred real estate brokers, and that is my brokerage. So my license is hung there at that brokerage. But everything I do is me. Now, so the brokerage is kind of the house that holds all the realtors. Does that make sense? Now, the other thing is a real estate team. And this is a tricky subject for me because I'm not a big fan, generally speaking, of the teams that I have come into contact with in my experience. That does not mean that that teams are a bad concept, but essentially, one could have a team, a real estate agent could have a team, and then that person could have 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 12, 20, 30, 40, 50 people underneath of them. And Eric likes to refer to it as a sub brokerage. And I think that's a good way to kind of, compartmentalize it in your mind a little bit. And so a lot of times what I hear, and this is where I really do want your input here in a little bit. So get your fingers going. So I am very busy. But I also, between Eric and myself, we usually get it all done, us. I do have and have had in the past, I've had some real estate agents that I say they are part of our Heart and Home Orlando family, and they have another purpose too, right? If I've got 10 people all coming in on the same day, well, I can't be with 10 people at the same day, but I want to help 10 people. So I will get those real estate agents that I trust that are part of our family, but that are often doing their own things independently on themselves. They're not dependent on Heart and Home Orlando. But Yanil is a perfect example. She has listings herself. She has clients herself, but she is my go-to person. If I need extra help and extra hands, she can go there to show a home. She can go there just to take over some clients if they're here during a time frame that I'm not. She is super, super helpful in that regard. But when you call me, you speak to me. And I think it was very, very sweet. The other day I had a phone call randomly, phone rang, I answered, and it was a lovely couple. And they were like, we didn't think you would answer the phone. We thought we would get like an office and then like a secretary, and then they would feed you off to somebody else. And I hear that a lot because there are a lot of teams around here, and there's a lot of very successful teams. But I find that from the client's perspective, when they call me, sometimes having had an experience with a team, that their biggest complaint is that, well, I thought I was going to get to work with so-and-so, but I never actually got to speak to that person, and I got passed off to somebody else. And that's the term they use, and that's the part that I think hurts my heart from a protective place, where they say I got passed off. And being passed off has a negative connotation. And, sometimes I'm like, well, I just need an extra hand. So anyway, so the team concept, I get really, really passionate about this. And Eric's going to chime in a minute. I see him pacing.
That's fine.
Because I really do. I do think that there are team concepts that can work very nicely. And in fact, years ago, there was one, I was like, this actually is the only time I had a buyer purchase a home from a team, and it actually was a relatively smooth process. I actually have had a client once not choose me because they went to another place that had a large team because they felt like they had more people that could take care of them. And I understand that concept, but a lot of times teams can also include newer agents that aren't able to do things on their own as much because they're still in the learning process. Eric, you want to chime in? I see you over there.
Hit the guest button and see if it works. And did that work?
Yeah, it's just
cool.
you, so that's good.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Just me? Oh, sorry. I didn't.
Oh my gosh, you got to come over this way so they don't see all the mess on the counter. Go that way. Cover it that way. Oh my gosh.
Is that better?
That's better. You see the box of blueberry muffins? Hey, that is the Rachel Ray Oval Pasta Pot, my friends. It is so worn. It used to be orange. It's no longer orange, but it is the best pasta pot ever.
Cool.
Okay.
Hi.
Sorry.
We like, one of the things that we like to do is be transparent. And we're trying to figure this all out because we have a lot of people that call, which is great. The entire reason we do this, and we have you come and sit and talk on coffee time. And some other agents sometimes are like, why do you tell them everything? And we're like, because we're not here. We're here to help
We're
them.
here to help.
We're not here for the well, we are here for the business part, but we have this constant balance of, do we get some more people to help out so we can stem the tide and so we don't have to work till midnight every night? Or is that going to be insulting to the people who watched you on YouTube and then said, oh, I know her and I trust her.
Exactly.
And then we go, and you're never going to talk to her. We don't want that.
No, I don't want that.
That's the balance. And the other thing I just wanted to say was, the thing that gets us sometimes is there are lots of good teams and there's lots of good agents that are on teams and lead teams, but you're taught as a real estate agent from the moment you get your license that the goal is to do as little work as possible and get as much money as possible. We don't understand that.
Totally against the core of my being.
And it makes us insane.
That's why I'm putting the printing press picture. It reminds me that you have to work and you work hard, and when you do, it's very, very, very important to us.
But if it were me, I'd call Amy. Anyway,
well,
you can do what you want.
Thank you. No,
Goodbye.
so I really do, and the reason we ask this, it really is something that we talk about a lot, because there are often times when we talk about our life and how grateful we are for where we are, but we don't have a lot of time to enjoy our life. We don't have a lot of time to enjoy that pool. And there are things that we could do, measures we could put in place. But every time I feel like I'm almost on the verge of going, okay, well, maybe I'll be a little bit better, and maybe I can relinquish some control. I'm not a control freak. I'm not. I really am. I'm just very protective. And I understand that I am not the only person that can do this. And so that's what I have to remind myself. But like, for instance, when I had, when all of the crazy cuckoo was going, I had a client that really wanted to go see a home, and I just was not in a position to go show it. So I reached out to Yanil. She was super helpful. She went and she showed them the home. And she's going to actually go show them a home this Thursday, because I have to take Molly back to the hospital right at that same time frame. And, and that particular client said, so can I talk to Yanil about things, or, and I think I got a little bit worried about, I said, well, yes, of course you can talk to Yanil about things. And Yanil and I talk to each other. It's not like, it's like, she's just going to be my right hand on this one. And if you need to go see a property and she's available, then she's going to go show you the home. She's very, very knowledgeable.
She's a pro.
She's absolutely a pro.
Be calling her if she was a pro.
No, exactly. It's like, I'm very protective. Do you think I'm going to have anybody just taking out my clients? Absolutely not. Yanil's fabulous, and that's why I trust her. But so here's my question to you, and then I'm going to leave it at that, because this really is a conundrum. I feel this conundrum a lot. Conundrum is a word, yes? It's not just my grandmom's word that she used to use. Which is, for you, whether you are an existing client actively working with me, whether you are a past client who has already closed, whether you are someone who's probably never going to buy a home, but you are part of my family anyway here on Monday Morning Coffee Time, or if you're just kind of thinking about it in the future, do you feel more comfortable? And let's just use me as the example, okay? Just use me. Go ahead. You talk to me. Do you want me to help you? Or if I had someone else assist you through the process, does that give you more comfort and confidence, or is it a disappointment to you? And I do mean that honestly. Like, I want to know what your perception and perspective as a potential client or buyer out there is, because that will give me some better peace of mind as to how we need to continue to best service our clients. Because, we obviously are, I'm one person, Eric is one person, and there's a lot going on, and we just really love everybody. And so it's hard for us to really figure out what is the actual best thing. Because as much as I love you, you probably don't love me. You just want to get a house and you want to have good guidance, right? And that's what I have to keep reminding myself, is that I love you, but you may not love me. And therefore somebody else is just as capable. If I were to help you through the process,
almost became a Barney song just then.
What?
I love you.
Oh, that Barney.
You don't love me. This is bad Barney. Hey, you said the word conundrum?
Yeah.
Which is a word.
Is a word.
Which leads me to, and I just want to preface this to start with. I just want to start with, I'm so sorry, and you're welcome about what's going to happen next. So we have a new segment called What's the Word, where Amy gives you a real estate word, and we go from there. Hit it, baby.
Just be prepared.
Now come on, Amy, tell me what's the word.
Thank you so much.
We have fun. We have fun.
So stupid, but I love it so much.
Well, so the new segment is What's the Word? So yes, we use a lot of words in real estate, and this one actually is Narcoossee. This isn't necessarily a real estate word. This is referencing a location. Narcoossee is the the Creek Indian word for meaning black bear or little bear. And the reason that is relevant is because if you watched us yesterday on our Sunday drive, we talked about one of Orlando's most congested roads, which is Narcoossee Road. That kind of travels through kind of the Lake Nona, St. Cloud, that kind of corridor. Yeah. Is there a better way to describe it? And beautiful, by the way. So if you didn't watch yesterday's Sunday drive, definitely go take a peek. But for any of the clients that like that area, or are interested in that area, one of the biggest things is Narcoossee Road. It's really the road that you're going to have to take to get you where it is that you're going. And everything is up and down that road. But it can be a bit congested. And so yesterday was we recorded it on a Saturday, I think. So it wasn't even as congested as it would be on a normal day. But at any rate, so if you didn't watch that. Here's a little clip, though, from that Sunday drive.
And there's some buzzards. So, okay, those buzzards right there. I'm going to put a picture of what those buzzards are. Okay. Those are they're absolutely flippin' majestic when they're flying. And then they come down and they're like, hello. It's like
that's funny.
Look at that! Is that an eagle? Yes, I mean, like
okay.
They're like the chain-smoking birds of prey. I remember flying around with some of those bald eagles. You don't see them very often. That looks like the voice they have.
Oh my gosh, we are so goofy. So guys, we have to have those moments of just goofiness to get us through. Anyway, but so yes, if you didn't watch the full Sunday drive, feel free to watch that so that you can kind of get an idea up and down. And on that note, we were actually out in the St. Cloud area for the listing that we have out there, which hopefully is going to go pending later. I don't know. We have an offer incoming. Hopefully. At any rate, so by the way, I wanted to say hello. Eric just told me that Furman, right? Where are we down here? Oh my gosh, there's so many things. I've missed so much.
He made a comment, so I knew he was there.
Yeah. Oh, he did? Okay, good.
He's our friend from the Philippines.
Yes, our friend from the Philippines. There he is. Hi, Furman. How are you? Yes, it's so nice. It's nice to see your lovely picture pop up again. Forrest says, I have nothing to do with this one. That cracked me up. Yeah, you did not have anything to do with that one. Marcia, while I'm here, says, since I've known you for years and years, I chose you. If it was someone else besides Eric, of course, I'd be disappointed. Just my thoughts. See, this is important. And I really do want that honest feedback because, obviously we want to work with everybody. So yes, I like that. So if you, here we go. Hold on. Here's Julia. I personally would like you or Eric just because I've been watching you guys for so long, but I would forgive another as long as we got to have breakfast occasionally. Yes, of course. Well, and anyway, it's as you are commenting, that's really good. That makes me happy. Susie Q says that the Sunday drive reminds her of the Buzzards from the old Bugs Bunny cartoons. It does, right? It sure does. Beth Burns. For me, I would have been pretty leery if you had given me off to team members, as choosing your services was a big decision for me to have made. Yeah. See, that, and I would have felt foisted off. I totally get it.
There's one, I think you should call it Lolo's comment.
Lolo? Where's Lolo? Hold on. Star Hopper. I chose to work with you to buy my new home because you were so involved in the process and don't hand off clients to team members. Keep doing it that way. You guys are great. See? Lolo, hold on. About a year and a half ago, we contacted you regarding the purchase. While we love you, we feel like we got passed off to Yanil. We love Yanil, and she was a wonderful and knowledgeable person. Okay, so that's important to know too. So yes, even though, and that's what we don't want, right? We don't want, and I will tell you, there's really been a handful of times where that has had to happen. It's truly been a handful. Yanil's fabulous, and this really isn't a show about Yanil. It's really about having to have extra hands. I mean, there are 7 days in a week. We have to, at some point in time, things conflict. There's things that double up on each other. And, and it's an important purchase, right? It's something that if you're coming in town and you've planned a trip out of state and I happen to not be here because I'm moving my son into college, what am I supposed to do, right? And that's why I have to have my extra hands. I still have to make sure that you're being taken care of by someone that I trust. So whether certainly that makes me upset that you would have felt like you were passed off. Those are very few that ever even has to happen. And if it happens for a reason. It happens because I am not physically able and in your best interest to be able to have someone that can devote that time and attention for you to help guide you through the process. And I'm still here. I'm never out of the picture, but that's important to know.
And that just speaks to what's in our heart. Like
it
does.
And
by the way, we're so sorry that you felt
I know.
that way,
I'm
but
like
we're
going to
also very
cry
happy.
now.
We're very happy that Yanil was, because we know she's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But that makes us sad.
Yeah, I know. Because that's not it. I mean, if you looked at all of the numbers of the clients that we've had, it really is. It's a handful that was not directly, completely 100% me. It's not. It's been very few, which is part of why we're asking, because it really is important. And people tell us all the time, like people even at our brokerage, like, oh, you should have a team. I'm like, no, I shouldn't, because that goes against my core. That goes against my heart. That goes against, because I put myself. And I promise I'm going to move on from this topic, but I put myself in your shoes all the time. And I think that's one of the advantages or one of the assets that I bring, is that every time I think of a client, I think of you from every perspective, and I put myself in your shoes. And I think, well, how would I have felt if I had reached out to so-and-so, because I grew to trust them. I had that relationship with them. And then that was not the person that I ever got to talk to. And that has happened for other people with other large groups, people that are very knowledgeable, but they never end up speaking to that person. And I would never want people to say about me what they say about people the other way.
One of the things I can tell you is the people that say you should have a team are always other real estate agents. People never say to us, you should have a team.
No.
We still have to figure this out, because there's a lot of people calling, and that's wonderful.
Oh no,
and
super happy.
So we'll get it figured out. But that actually super helpful feedback. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. But here's the thing. So this is super important. So, and this is by the way for any realtor again, but specifically me. One of the things that you can do to help is to reach out, and this is super important. This is to reach out before you decide to start house hunting. Because I have had people recently that just came in town. They're like, hey, we're going to be in town tomorrow. Can we go see this house? I've never spoken to them before. I'm scrambling, right? I'm moving stuff around to try to get that taken care of for them. So one of the things that you can help do is be proactive as well. If you are in the process of thinking about it, it is never too early. And some people are so cute. They're so sweet on the phone. They're like, we're a little far out, so we really don't want to bother you because we know you're busy. No. Bother me. Because what's better is that I know that you exist a year in the future, and we create that relationship, we touch base, and then as you're coming in town, I know this in advance, and we prep that, and we can center everything around you and try to get things going, and it gives us time to really service you better. So hopefully that helps a little bit. Do you want to say anything else? Are you good? Okay, cool. All right, let me move on.
Somebody had a question.
Somebody had a question? Was it this one? What is the average time to sell a house this month?
And it's 28 days is the absorption rate today.
28 days is absorption. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
blah.
exactly.
28 days is the. I can't say it. 28 days is the absorption rate today.
But based on Amy's last 2 listings, it's 3 days. Well, 1 day for one.
No,
I'm kidding.
well, they've gone pretty quickly, and knock
But it's
on wood.
30 days-ish
Yeah. I mean,
in this area.
yeah, it's still honestly, it just depends. I still go back to the same thing. If you are in real estate and you know what you're doing and you are honest about where the pricing should be, it's going to sell. There's very few times where we've had a house that was listed properly and just didn't have any activity. And I know which one I'm thinking about. And the reason it wasn't selling was because it was currently in a class action lawsuit with something. And that just kind of put like a stink bug on it. But yeah, so hopefully that helps you, Kathleen. Furman says, I love you guys. You know that I have been a subscriber since 2018. I know you're part of like the original group, right? You are the OG. Is that what it's for? OG? What's OG stand for, Eric?
Original gangster.
Oh, well, then you're not original gangster. Sorry. I don't know. I need to stop being so hip. You're one of our dear friends. Anyway, so let me see. Is there anything else here before I go to the next one? Sharon, it's a balancing act because you guys are still human and things happen. I'm glad you have that trusted person who can. Oh, thank you, Sharon. That honestly, that gives me some thank you, because it does, and I think that's hard too for us to remember that that we should have a life too, and we don't at the moment. I've told you before, we literally, the time that Eric and I, we work together, so we're constantly working together and spending that time together. But what we do is we're like, let's go have a hot date, and we go to McDonald's and grab the Diet Coke, or let's go have a hot date and remove the lockbox from the home out in Kissimmee, or let's go have a hot date. And that's our joke. It's not a hot date. It's not a hot date at all, but it's the time that we try to spend together. Even then, though, we end up talking about real estate, but that's kind of it. And that, honestly, back to the spending of the money of the pool. That's why we did that, because we know that we're never going to get to go anywhere and do anything for any substantial length of time. So to have those little moments of floating on Fridays is good.
It's important to note that we are not complaining. I'm being totally serious. We're like, things are going great. It's not that. We're just trying to sort it out. But also, Amy, there's breaking news.
Oh, no.
Solution to the problem.
What's the solution?
And you hold it in your hands, Amy.
This is the solution.
That's the solution. We're going to retire everyone. So put your little button, your little thing there. And so those of you that stuck around with us to the end.
Where's the button?
There's a button with that logo on there. Those of you that stuck around to the end, we're going to retire everyone.
I'll see it.
I'll find it.
You find it. So if you were with us before, we've done this before. When the lottery gets to big numbers, guys, we are going to have fun with you. And anyone that on this particular, if you've commented, please comment. You get to share in this when we win. We're not going to win, but let's just pretend. We're going to dream. We're going to think positively. If you haven't already, like this stream, subscribe, all that fun social media jazz. And then, but specifically, definitely comment so that we'll know who you are. Eric says that in this particular one, it's worth what?
It's almost $1 billion.
$1 billion?
Yeah.
It's almost $1 billion. So Eric says we get half, and we're going to take
cash value is going to be like $500,000. So we're gonna keep half because
we're going to keep half.
We're greedy.
We're greedy.
And I bought the ticket. So.
No, but so we'll keep half, and then the other half will be divided among all the people that have commented on this live stream. So if you haven't commented, go ahead and do that. And then if you're watching this after the fact and it's not live, you can still
just
comment.
Put a comment in the thing.
Yeah.
And if you're watching this on TV where you can't comment or whatever, go find it on YouTube.
Yeah,
and
there you go.
Put a comment in there and make sure you like it and make sure you subscribe. And we'll sort it all out. It'll be a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Also, we'll go if those numbers come up, we'll be in hiding because, like, instantly. I'm not even kidding, because somebody will be like, "Hey, they are holding that ticket, so we won't be at our house, so you can't find us there."
Look at this. Raymond says it will help you pay for a house in Bella Colina. Okay, that was very funny. Yes, that if you don't know, it's super expensive. Lisa, yay, we won. You guys are so cute. Okay, so I think I have a couple more things, and then we're going to get out of here because it is a Sunday morning. It is now 10:03-ish. So I'm going to go to, we did Allie. Let's go to what I'm watching real fast. Okay, so Eric put this up. I actually just finished watching, and I don't know what it is. It's on Netflix. I can't pronounce it. The Mauritanian something. Jodie Foster on Netflix. It's about Guantanamo Bay. Okay. Anyway, I watched that yesterday. But okay, so he's laughing. Age of Empires is a video game, and this is what. Okay, so my kids are so sweet, and I know that they do this for me. And they probably roll their eyes because they're like, oh my gosh, we should probably get Mimi and like see if she wants to play AOE again. So although Allie says that no, Hong really likes it. So pretty much every night here recently, or maybe every other night, we'll get a little family message, and they'll say AOE, which is Age of Empires at 8:20. And then we'll all say whether or not we're in or we're out, whether or not we can do it. And so sometimes we'll get Forrest to play, Allie, Hong, myself, Elizabeth, Steele, Eric, or any of us at any time. And we play this game. Apparently it's an old game. I don't know, because I'm not a big video game person, but I've learned how to play it, and I think it's fun. Honestly, it gives me 1 hour to escape because I can't pay attention to my phone. And both of my hands are on the little Xbox controller, and I'm fiddling around because I don't know what I'm doing. But it gives me that hour where I literally can focus on something else, and it's always in the evening, so I'm not ignoring a client. But it kind of gives me a little bit of an escape. So yeah, so that's been pretty fun.
Elizabeth says you're good at it. She just commented.
Elizabeth says I'm good at it. Am I pretty good at it? I only play as the Huns because you get a free llama. I don't have to build houses. Oh no, I don't get a llama. I don't know. Anyway. I don't know what I'm doing. All right, guys. So let me just make sure that I got all of the important do-wah-ditties out of the way for today. Did I get everything? Let me do one more looking at questions. Yep. I think I got all the questions. Susie Q says Amy's working with us on our build. We're in New York, and she's been great walking us through the process. Thank you. That's what we do. In fact, that's what I have to do today, my friends. Which is one of the reasons I'm going to skedoot here, because at 11 o'clock, I have a new homeowner orientation for some clients, and I have some showings, some more stuff. We got some pictures and a video. So there's big Monday ahead for me. As always, guys, please know how much I truly enjoy our time together. I know I say it all the time, but I really do mean it. I know this is probably informative for you, but it's fun for me, and it gives me a moment to feel like I've been able to sit down and have a cup of coffee or a Diet Coke, as it is today, with some friends. So, I do appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. So as always...
Hold on, there it is. I just didn't have a button for you.
Oh, so as always, remember, please stay safe, stay well. Remember, we love you. Truly, we do. And happy house hunting. Bye, guys. See you next week. And where's the button?
I don't think there's a button.
He lost the button. Bye. We're going to wait for the button.
Hold on, wait.
You do finish.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Finish. Hold on. I just didn't make a button.
He didn't make a button.